So let's talk about how to earn this cruise. Before you listen to this video, please go print out this sheet that I put in our Facebook group last night. I see it's backwards, but seriously, if you don't have this sheet in front of you, this is going to be totally overwhelming and confusing. So just pause me, go print that sheet, and come back. Okay, so I'm assuming you've all got the sheet. Now at the top of this sheet, it says what your goal is. Now, this is really primarily for going on the cruise, but you could use it for anything. So whatever your goal is, put it at the top, and then put what the month is, September, because you can use this every month. And then you have to decide if you're interested or committed, right? Because interested is kind of like, yeah, that cruise sounds like it'd be kind of fun, and if I accidentally earn it, that'd be cool. This is not that kind of trip. You have to be committed, because at this point in September, I think anybody who wants to go on the cruise can go on the cruise, but you have to be committed. You have to have a goal, you have to have a strategy, and you've got to be able to work your plan. So that's what I'm going to walk through, is the strategy that I have put a ton of time into figuring out how everyone, even the person who works full time, who only does maybe 3 events a month, can still qualify for this cruise. So personal goal for September. I think if you want to go on this cruise, you need to hold a minimum of 3 events this month. You need $1,000 in CV, and you need to sponsor at least one motivated jeweler. And I use the word motivated because we all have girls that sign up that just want the discount, right? And that's fine, but those aren't the girls you want to work with for this cruise. You need to find one who wants to make money doing this business. So that's your goal, and 3 gems. Ideally, maybe 1 from each event. Okay, so 3 events, write this on your sheet, 1,000 CV, and 1 motivated jeweler, and 3 gems. That is your goal. Because let me tell you what happens if you achieve that. And there's still time. It is only September 10th, so there's time to achieve all those things still this month. And I'll talk at the end about how to maybe get some of those. So let's say on the right side where it talks about what you've achieved, let's say you do that. So just fill it in with, I held 3 shows, I had personal CV of 1,000, I sponsored 1 jeweler, I scheduled a launch party, because that's what's going to tell you one way if she's motivated or not, if she can let you schedule a launch party for her, and that is critical. Get to that in a second. You added 3 gems. So because you have submitted 1,000 CV and you have sponsored 1, you have earned 1,000 bonus points. That's one of the keys to this whole trip. You cannot lose sight of those bonus points. So if you do that, your total points achieved is 2,300. And you want to do that for September, October, November, and let's just combine, January and December together. And then maybe in October and November, we could bump up the events to 4 events a month and personal CV of 1,500, and still just aim to sponsor 1. All right. Hopefully you're all with me so far, right? 2,300 points is what we're going to do in September. Now below this, I have, who to contact and who to find for the business. So we'll come back to that part in a second. So flipping it over, if I haven't lost you, on the back, same thing. What's your goal? We're going for the cruise, right? This is for September. And then below it, it says, are you interested in working with new jewelers, or are you committed to working with new jewelers? And that's the difference too, because if you're interested, it's kind of like, yeah, if they need help, they'll call me and I'll help them out. But committed is helping them reach their goals, which in turn is going to help you reach your goals. Because sponsoring, to me, is the way to earn this trip. Someone asked me recently, can you just earn it through retail? I guess technically, yes, you could, but that is a lot of retail. So for example, if you sponsor a jeweler and she does $500 in CV in October, you are going to get 1,500 points, right? Because you get 3 points for every dollar she submits. Now, if she does, 1,000 in a month, which is kind of what the goal is, you're going to get 3,000 points. For you to get 3,000 points without having it come from a new jeweler, you are going to have to retail probably about $6,000. And we don't have very many people on our team right now that are retailing more than $6,000. So if you want to go on this cruise and you look at your history and you think, well, I've really only been doing maybe 1 to 2 parties a month, it's going to be really hard to get to 6,000 retail every month. But sponsoring, we can do that. So let's set our new jeweler goals. Remember that girl from the back we sponsored, right? Let's say we sponsored one motivated jeweler in September. And we have her launch party set for October, hopefully early October. You want to schedule her launch party, her practice party, and have her schedule her first party. Ideally, all within 30 days. Now, the launch party, obviously, you're going to do that, right? And I'm talking about a jeweler who signs up for 45. If she signs up to get one of the boutiques, that's awesome. But I'm not even looking for that. I'm just looking for someone who is willing to try this business. So let's say you sign her up with the Shine package, 45 bucks. You schedule her launch party. You need to bring your jewelry, right? Because she doesn't have any jewelry. You schedule a practice party for her, ideally within a week of the launch party. And I like to do the practice party with them if I can. So hopefully you can do that. If you can't, you probably need to pick a date where she can borrow your jewelry. And then her first party, she also probably needs to pick a date where she can borrow your jewelry. So just plan on loaning that out for those two events. Now, below that, it talks about new jeweler gems. Now, we all know, that she can give free gem memberships to anybody who purchases from her in her first 10 days. Now, what I've found with my new jewelers is they are overwhelmed. They can't even think about getting the gem membership because they're trying to get their website set up and they're trying to get ProPay set up, and it's just kind of getting pushed aside. So this is my new strategy on that. Is I'm telling them, because I thought, what do I want to focus on? Do I want to focus on the gems or do I want to focus on the launch party? I want to focus on the launch party. That's where she's going to get the most support, hopefully bookings, hopefully prospects. She's going to sell some jewelry. She's going to make some money. She's going to make 50%. That's what I want. So I'm focusing on the launch party. Invite everybody to the launch party. And as you have girls say that they can't come, because some can't come, that's when I'm telling my new jewelers to go back to them and say, no problem, but hey, if you order from my website in the next 10 days, you get a free gem membership. So I'm really targeting the gem memberships towards the people who can't come to the launch party. Because if they come to the launch, they're going to be all excited about the jewelry. A lot of them will just sign up for the gem membership anyway. So that's my focus right now. And then the goal is to sponsor one jeweler from those 3 events. Now, I think that her biggest chance to sponsor is probably at the launch party or the practice party, because that's where we're doing the presentation, right? We're doing the checkout. We're doing the sponsoring activity. So what I'm telling my new girls is whoever signs up with you in your first 30 days, I will give them an extra $25 in jewelry from me. And I'm hoping that at her launch party and her practice party, we can sign girls up that night to try the business. Because the biggest game changer for me from Rally was that you can upgrade them. That is huge. Okay, so to recap, we signed up a jeweler in September for the Shine package. We scheduled a launch party in early October. We scheduled a practice party. She got one of her friends to book a party, all within 30 days. We're going to invite everybody to the launch party. If they can't come, we're going to push them towards the practice party. The ones who can't come to either one of those, we are going to offer the gem membership. And then we are going to try and sponsor a new jeweler from those parties. And then what you need to do is you need to go through the Sparkle Plan, the first one, and the Sparkle Plan, the second one, before her launch party, ideally. And I would do them one at a time. When I went through the Sparkle Plan 1 with my new jeweler, it took about an hour. So I'm kind of planning about an hour for the first one, an hour for the second one. And that's about as much as they can handle because it's a lot of information. I always say not a hard business, but a lot of information. Okay, so we got the goals. Now go to the other side where it says new jeweler goals achieved. And I would encourage you to write this because you can always print a clean one that you're going to use for real. So let's say she does this. She has her launch party and her CV is 500. So write 500. Her practice party, let's say her CV is 300. And at her first party, her CV is 200, just for some sample math. And what we're going to do at these parties too is we are going to help her maximize that CV. So she may not necessarily have $1,000 in sales in retail, but we are going to encourage her to use her half price to buy more pieces. We are going to offer to the guests that come. I always text them after the show and say, hey, Jill wasn't able to use all of her half price, so good news for you. If you want it, you can get up to 4 more pieces at half price. We don't make money on those, but that adds to the CV. So that could increase her CV up to 500. So 500, 300, 200. Now that's 1,000 CV, right? Hopefully within 30 days, because our goal, our little side goal, is to help her move towards star. So if she has 1,000 CV in 30 days, she could have made, now if everything's at full price, she would have made $500. But even if we're, pushing the CV up without necessarily the sales, she still probably made between $300 and $400, right? Now with that $300 to $400 profit, we're going to coach her to upgrade because we need these girls to have jewelry. So with her profit that we're going to set aside, she's going to upgrade. That's going to give you 300 points, right? Hopefully you're all with me. Now, side note, if she sponsored a jeweler and does that 1,000, she just became a star in 30 days. You think she's going to be excited about $400 in jewelry? Or even if she doesn't do it in 30 days, maybe she'll do it in 60 days, she's still going to be excited. And are you going to be excited because you got paid $100 from Premier for promoting her to star? Yes, you are. All right, so go down to the bottom. With the points, we have now upgraded her to a boutique, which is 300. We have gotten the personal star qualification for us, right? Because every month we are going to qualify us as a star ourselves. So we're going to submit 1,000 CV and sponsor. So we've done the personal star qualification. Let's say last month you didn't get any points, so you 0. So our personal points this month is 2,300. Remember that came from the other side of the sheet, 2,300 points. Our new jeweler submitted 1,000 CV. Times 3 is 3,000 points. You combine those two and you have 5,300 points that month. If you're able to do that for September, October, November, and combined December through January 15th, you're going to have about 21,000 points. That is very close to the 25,000 you need to go on the cruise. Because we're not even talking about other points that you're going to earn. So for example, if you get more gem memberships, that's more points. If you submit some individual orders, that's more points. If your parties are higher, that's more points. And especially that new jeweler, like I think if you can that's just sponsoring one new jeweler a month and getting her launch party set for the next month and setting her up for success. But let's say with our example here, our new jeweler does 1,000 CV in October and does these 3 parties. Do you think if she does those 3 parties, she might get bookings and submit some retail and CV in November? Of course she is. And December, all those points on your second and third level jewelers, or your first and second level jewelers, new ones since August 1st, you get 3 points. That is the ticket. So let me go back to the sponsoring and the events. Because I know some of you girls are thinking, I couldn't sponsor someone in August when it was free. So how in the world am I going to sponsor someone now, when it costs money? I think it starts with the events. You've got to get the 3 events first so that you are in front of some new people to talk to about Premier. So make that your goal. So, for what I told the girls last night at training is focus on October because October is a little bit easier. They have 50% hostess benefits. Everyone's Christmas shopping in October and nobody's stressed out yet, so everyone loves October. So October should be easier to book. And I put some verbiage in our Facebook group where you can reach out to some girls about October. Once you get 1 or 2 shows on your calendar for October, you're going to feel more confident. And that's when you want to circle back and try and get some more activity for September. And in September, I would reach back to the girls that maybe you tried to get to have a show and either they said no or they ignored you and say, hey, Jill, I know I talked to you about doing a show in September. Let's not do that. Instead, let's do a 5 o'clock somewhere or a stop and shop or a jewelry happy hour, something quick, spontaneous, and fun. Go for the low commitment and the lowest amount of time that it's going to take. And see if you can get her to grab a few friends and get together. Because when I think about what's going to make me leave my house to go to a show, it's because I either love the product, I love the hostess, or I have a perceived idea that it's going to be short. So I can say to Matt, I'm going to go over to Lana's for an hour, I'll be back. Now, if I get there and I'm having a great time, then I might stay all night. But in my mind, if I think I only am going to be there for an hour, I have time for that. So that's where we need to go back to these girls and approach them about just doing a quick little stop and shop and do it open house style. Because I'm really thinking too that unless you're really, really good at the presentation part, you're going to have a hard time holding their attention. So just go for the open house. I think open house style is great. Customers love it. The reason we don't love it is because we want to make sure to do a presentation and get in the booking activity and get in the sponsoring activity and all that kind of thing. But I think if you do open house style and you're able to have them fill out a survey, you're good. Because I'm amazed at, and I don't do it very often, but when I do an open house style, I will, look, they're ready to order. I take their order and I say, here, fill this out for me while I'm writing up your order. And I give her a survey. Can't be a long survey. It's got to be a short survey. And I'm amazed at how many times they put maybe about a show because they think this was fun. I could do this. This wasn't hard. I just, had a glass of wine and hung out with my friends. This is great. And then you can turn that maybe into a let's pencil something in. Wasn't this fun? So do that for September. And then as far as the sponsoring part, that's where you're going to meet people. And, if you're doing an open house style, you're not able to kind of share your story or, do the traditional sponsoring activity, just talk to people. And, some of my best sponsoring has come from me just saying, you should do this. You're fun. You should do this. Or you love the jewelry. You should try this. The words you should try this should just be rolling off our tongue at all time because we want them to try it, right? Just sign it for 45 bucks. You're going to buy that, I don't know, Infinite Bliss bracelet anyways. Why not just sign up, use that as your free piece and just try it for 30 days and see if you like it. Because I believe if we can help them to try it, Premier has them so set up for success. Between the gym memberships and the 50% hostess benefits and the Jumpstart and the Star and the extra jewelry, and not to mention just the 50% profit. But we've got to encourage more jewelers to try it. So I believe if you can do this for September, circling back, if you can do this for September, get 3 events on the calendar, get 1,000 CV, sponsor 1 motivated jewelry, and get 3 gems, you are going to be on your way to getting on that ship. So I wish you all the best. I think you can do it. Thanks.